This is a video of Evan's first introduction to the work in hand. We begin by working on the balancera, which is an exercise where the handler rocks the horse's weight forward and back, looking for equal ease of movement both directions. This movement is called the balancera because it tests the horse's balance. Horses tend to either rush forward or fall out to the side. When the horse has found his balance, he will be able to simply shift his weight forward and backward without moving, take one step forward and then immediately take one step back, or several steps forward and several back without losing his rhythm. The balancera can be very relaxing for a horse and help to settle him when his nerves are high. We then begin working on some pivots, or turning on the forehand and turning on the haunches. It's common for a green horse to rush through these movements and to continue moving after you've stopped giving the cue. In this event, the way to signal the horse to stop is to use the combined effect. Gently set your stick down on his back. If he continues to move, press down gently. At the same time, close your hand and immobilize your feet. When the horse realizes that all of your action has stopped, and that you've closed the door to movement in all directions, your horse will find himself at a halt and stand quietly. The reason we use the combined effect is that we don't want to use increasing pressure with our hands. Using increasing pressure teaches the horse to lean on the hand, and also teaches him that if he doesn't want to respond immediately, he has time to wait until the cue gets stronger. It's important to be specific about how you would like your horse to stand. We would like Evan to stand square, balanced, and alert. Standing square supples your horse and helps him to find an athletic posture. It can also help you to see which limb is weakest, as the horse will often bring that one into position last. The good news is that simply standing square will supple and strengthen your horse. As Evan finds his balance, pivoting on the forehand and on the haunches, the movement becomes what we call the waltz, which is alternating between moving the hind end and moving the front end. We use the waltz to find equality between the two movements. We would like him to move with equal ease in both directions, and for it to be equally easy to take one step or many. If ever Evan begins to fall out of the movement, we use the combined effect to cue him to stop. When he completes the movement and then stops easily, we click and treat him for finding his balance. After Evan can move his hind end or his forehand equally easily, we begin moving both at once in a movement that we call sideways or shoulder in. The movement is called shoulder in because the horse's shoulder is inside the bend. The important thing to remember about a shoulder in is that the horse moves away from his bend. In other words, if the horse's head is bent toward the left, the horse's movement will be towards the right. Evan and I then begin working on some suppling exercises standing still. The first exercise that we'll do brings the horse's head into a sort of ramene, with the nose being vertical or perpendicular to the ground. I lay the left rein over its pole and then bring my hands together. This movement is meant to supple, not to teach appropriate head carriage. I then begin to elevate and lower Evan's head, which is again a suppling exercise. You want to try and follow your horse's motion, vibrating slightly to encourage it. It's important not to lift your horse's head because this doesn't build any strength in the horse, just strengthen you. Evan and I then work on lateral flexion to the left and to the right. Oftentimes, when you bend your horse's head to the side, they'll fall out of the movement and instead of bending, swing their hindquarters away. If this happens, just follow your horse, wait for him to collect himself, and then start again. Try to feel your way through the sticky spots of the flexion and help him to get comfortable stretching. Most horses will have more difficulty flexing to the right because most horses are left-handed. If your horse continues to drift, you can use the combined effect by gently pinching his withers, in the event that you can't use your stick to press down gently on his back. After your horse figures out that he can stand still comfortably, it's often much easier for him to then do the flexion. Sometimes horses don't flex because they are stiff, and other times because they are scared about having you on that side. One solution to this is to do carrot stretches, where when the horse reaches all the way around, he gets to nip the end of a carrot. I then go back and check Evan's ramené, this time holding my right hand further back on his neck, and Evan gives me the same great result. He quickly earns a click and a treat for performing so well. We then do a little bit of lunging to balance it out with standing still. Unfortunately, the same horse is still kicking and bucking in the round pen, so Evan is not quite as good as he usually is. To get Evan to trot, I pull forward gently on the halter, using a small circling action. I walk alongside him, following him as well as asking him to follow me. When Evan gets too far in front of me, I lift up on the lead rope and ask him to stop. Because he forgot and drifted his hindquarters out of the turn when I lifted up on the lead rope, the next time I use the stick on his back to signal him to stop square and to maintain his position in relation to me. I would like Evan to trot slowly and to keep his head even with my shoulder. If he's further in front of me, it makes it harder to expand and contract my circle at my will. The uneven footing is making it difficult for Evan to stay as upright as he normally would, but I reinforce upright posture by asking him to stop and set his feet square when we halt. I give the combined effect and hover my stick just above his back while I wait for him to set his feet. When he finally gets square, I click and treat, even though his right hind foot is still cocked. It's really not a bad set for a pony's first day. We give lunging another shot, as I'm hoping to get, if not a slower, more controlled trot, at least a nicer stop. This is Evan's first day working outside of an arena on uneven ground. When I do signal him to stop, he sets his feet on his own and offers me a nice square stance. Evan does very well for his first day, and I think that all of this precision work will help him to be a wonderful children's pony.